It's 6 o'clock on Thursday, October 12th, 2023. This is a meeting of the Abington CAM members, Abington CAM being Abington Community Access and Media, Inc., a 501c3 nonprofit corporation. Today we have 4 directors and 1 member present. First item on the agenda, old and new business. I have none.
None?
Anyone?
No.
Approval of meeting minutes. We have minutes from our September 7th, 2023 meeting. All 4 of us were here. There was one change on the last page, you said, Peter?
Yeah.
What was that? Oh, a motion to adjourn. Is that it?
Yes.
Just we need to add adjourn.
Yeah, motion to approve minutes from
I'll second that.
September 7th, 2023.
All in favor?
Aye.
So no applicants for director vacancy, huh?
Director vacancy is the next item. No applicants so far. And at this point, we're, of course, looking to fill the position. The way it would happen now is that someone would apply and the board would vote them in. They would be a director until the next annual meeting, at which time then we would expect members to be present to vote them in, or with the board of 5, the board alone can ratify the director.
For the 4 of us.
Yeah, the bylaws require either 5 directors or 15 members to make a vote at an annual meeting. So although we could bring anybody in at any time, it wouldn't be ratified until the next annual meeting. Which, at this point, with the time frame, a member, what's the word? Not application. Member nomination. Would have had to have been in 2 weeks ago, so it's too late for that anyway.
Our annual meeting, routinely and by the bylaws, is always held in October.
Right.
So tonight's an annual meeting, it would be until next.
Next
annual.
meeting. They would still be a director,
Yep.
just the same as if they were nominated and voted in now. It's just it wouldn't be confirmed until the members or the board of 5 has a chance to vote next annual meeting. How's that?
If anybody
bylaw-
wants to be a director.
Yeah, yeah, had an opening for a while.
Yes.
Bylaw changes, we've had none suggested, and the same with them is that we could not ratify them right now because we only have 4 directors. We need 4 directors or 15 members to ratify a bylaw change. So although we could enact it, it wouldn't be official until next annual meeting. Next on the agenda, banking, money market, corporate funds, annuities. We're up about $10,000 from the September meeting because we received the statement on the third and fourth annuities that we opened a year ago. We got $4,860 interest on both of those. So we're at a total banking, annuities, and unreimbursed enterprise fund expenditure so far, total $1,094,074. So we are on track to make about $22,000 in interest from the 5 annuities for their first year, the 3-year annuities.
That's great.
Yeah, so they would go up a little bit because we'd make interest on the interest. in the second and third years.
And the base of those annuities is around 600,000 we started.
It is 600,000. We have 5 annuities at $120,000 each.
We don't have to split them until they become 200, is that correct?
No, the reason that we did 120 is because there's a insurance company similar to FDIC, DIF for banking for annuities as well. It's like annuity warranty fund or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
That covers covers anybody for annuities up to $250,000 with each company. So we have 3 different companies: North American,
New York
and
Life or something.
New York Life, and one other. So this fund covers us for up to $250,000 with each one of those particular companies.
So once they reach, what, 150 each?
250.
Yeah,
So-
200,
so-
because you have 150 and 150, that would be
No, we have
300,000. In one, because we have 2 in one company, right?
We have, yeah, the first 2, we have 120 each
Yes.
with New York Life. And the second 2, we have 120 each with North American. And then we have a 5th one, 120,000 with the company that escapes me.
So basically, we're
Right.
going to have to split them because they're going to be over
No,
250.
the reason we did the 120 was because we're allowed up to $250,000 total, 120, 120. And then the interest they earn
No, you're gonna get 240.
to be insured.
It'll be 120, 120, total 240.
And then
You're
the
you're
interest-
getting towards, if we add the interest of those over the course
So
of
when
2
they
years.
mature, because they're like 2 and 3 years.
3 years.
Yeah, 3 years.
They're all 3 years.
So at 3 years, we're going to have to split them, basically, because they'll be over the 250.
Oh, once they mature, yeah.
That's what I'm speaking about.
Yeah,
okay.
we would have made actually 3 years, 65, 70,000 in interest. So we could take it
all
out
back
and-
and reinvest again.
Yeah, open another one.
Okay.
I'd have a
Yeah, that's
fourth
what
with
kind of
that.
what I'm getting at. Okay, great.
Yeah,
The other reason we did the 120 was, in the event we ever had to cash those, we would only
Mhm.
have to incur a penalty for cashing early of up to 120,
On one
rather than take it all
instead
out.
of all
Yes.
of them.
So
yeah.
that's why we broke them up.
Yeah.
Yep.
So the 250 cap is only if there's another recession and they all crash and we have our money in them.
Mhm.
There's only if they fail, if the companies fail, and that's not
Hopefully.
Not like,
pending.
it's like FDIC insurance in a
Mhm.
bank. It's a,
Yeah,
just a
it's
safety.
similar to FDIC, only it's for annuities.
Mhm.
correct.
And it's a Massachusetts thing, as it turns out. So,
Great.
I think that's all of that, unless somebody has any questions.
No?
Questions? Member? No. So next is our executive director's report.
Not much has changed since the last time we met. We met a month ago, but I thought I could I did kind of an overview of past year, kind of catch folks up. Starting with staff updates. Newest hire, which was in December of last year, Ian Deming, a graduate of New York University, a film student. Hired in December 22 as a full-time employee. He's actually quickly learned many of the studio's protocols, works well with the interns and volunteers, great at handling municipal and sports coverage. Also has led the effort in increasing ACAM's podcast network and assembling the studio's first newsletter, which would have went out earlier this week, but it went out today. Part-time hours. We have 1,352 hours total
For the year,
for the year
since January.
since, no. this is-
October through September.
Yeah, I do October 1st to September 30th, just as,
Oh, so for that 12
For the
months.
yeah,
Annual
for that,
meeting.
not,
I
yeah,
see.
yeah, just for the 12 months.
I see.
Yeah,
Um,
got it.
Huh?
The newsletter.
Yep. Um,
Good.
Student interns, school year 23-24, 5 seniors, 3 juniors. episodic intern programs that we currently have in the process. We have Senioritis version 2024. They actually, prior to this meeting, they actually shot their second episode this afternoon. The Mid-Afternoon Show, the Jack and Becca podcast, and a Green Wave gaming show. That's a show where they actually talk about the game that they're playing to the viewers. It's kind of a popular thing with the kids. We still hold the intern meetings every week, Thursdays. As far as intern hours and payroll, October to December 2022, 142 hours. You see the amount there, $2,023. Again, don't forget that. At that rate, that was minimum wage was $14.25. July through, that actually should say January through September. It's a little bit of a typo on my behalf. 464 hours for $6,960. Marketing and outreach, probably one of the things that we stay on top of. Again, all platforms continuing to see increases, including our YouTube subscribers. We're nearing 2,000 subscribers at this particular time.
Awesome.
Top one is the prize, the Publishers Clearinghouse Prize Patrol. I'm still surprised, and you would think like, oh my God, is this like a real thing? I mean, we all say it when we see it on TV, yeah. But we were fortunate enough, as you remember, I think I had brought this to you a couple of meetings ago, that we got an email saying, hey, we're going to surprise an Abington resident. We were able to make something out of it. Cable cast and programming. We've added 1,686 new shows to our playback system. This is again from October 1 of 22 to October 1 of 23. These, of course, are a combination of government meetings, community coverage, stuff that's produced here, also shared content that we get from other communities. And this, the average run time, about 15 minutes. Municipal meeting coverage, again, same year, over about 137 municipal meetings that we have covered. As you see, we don't miss a meeting. Recurring episodic programs, Community Chat, the Madden Report, which is a sports show, the Gig Show, Town Manager's Corner, The Buzz, and Causeway Kings, tallying up 57 episodic programs. New and recurring series, and these are limited series that we've done over the past year, whether it's something that we did here in-house or that we captured. Again, the popular one is the summer concert series, which we make sure we're out there diligently doing, capturing and then turning around and then playing back, and we coordinate with Jan Prowl and Nancy Reed and the rest of the committee as to when we're going to play it back, and they put the word out to their followers. Another limited one, it was a five-part series, Root Beer Circus Variety Show, where we had a couple volunteers who came in here with other volunteers and did a variety show. Between having a clown, to singing, to doing bits, it was fun. As I mentioned about the podcast earlier, the Abington Podcast Network is up to 30 podcasts. Leading the way is the Rise of the Franchise Sequels podcast. We have interns who are actively doing podcasts now. And Pop Culture R&R is another one. These podcasts, by the way, not only can be found on podbean.com, but they are available on Spotify. And just some miscellaneous news. The podcast, we are working probably within the next week to actually play these podcasts in rotation. So when we're not playing programming, content, and we have the bulletin board up, there will be these podcasts will be underneath. So people will be able to kind of hear the podcast, and kind of a win-win. Update on the surplus equipment. We now kind of have an idea of what we have. Now it's a matter of who wants it. And so that's what we're working on right now, with just different outlets between Paul Watson and Ian Deming and myself, trying to find a way for us to, whether it's eBay or other web-based outlets, to try to sell it. If not, probably the last-ditch effort would be to kind of have like a little rummage sale here inside of the studio and let other access centers know, hey, this is what we have, or even people who are professionals or novices who might want to, dabble with equipment, we will, reach out to them for that. And finally, as I mentioned, the newsletter was launched today. If you have on your report, if you didn't receive an email, there's a QR code, and that'll be posted to our website. The idea is it's going to be quarterly to start, but then I want this to ramp up to be more of a monthly informational newsletter, e-letter that we send out to folks to kind of get them involved. And that's the end of my report.
And will that go out to every member? Was that what the,
Everybody that I have an email, I sent out an email blast of about 150 people today.
okay, great.
Is the QR code also posted on the web for someone that may want to sign up?
It's going to be.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Great.
The idea, I was hoping to do it earlier this week, but we had a couple of things that we had
Understood.
but we got it out, and as I do, we put a lot of our stuff on the web. We actually started using Threads now, which is kind of like the alternative to Twitter/X. So this will go out.
Great.
Yes.
I had a question. You had said the state is trying to figure out, with the demise of the cable companies, that they might tax apps and so forth. Is there anything?
It's still in the works. Joan Moschino and Matt Muratori, two state reps that I have a great rapport with, that I speak with on a regular basis, and it's in the works. The whole idea is just trying to get it through the committee and get it into a bill. Hopefully, it wouldn't get bundled and stripped down. I think I had mentioned that there was a hearing about this in July, and while the individuals who spoke, we had a lot of colleagues around the South Shore and around the Commonwealth who spoke highly, said this is neat, this is important, what we do is vital. There were some on the committee who were concerned that people are cutting the cord because of the increasing costs of the cable providers, and that they were kind of a little hesitant to want to kind of put this on them where they found an inexpensive way to do it. There was even one particular senator who retorted, well, how much are you looking to replace? Because the idea is not to give PEG access centers more, but just replace what's being lost with people going to other alternatives. And they had roughly, that was about $68 million, and the senator says, well, why don't we just, we've been seeing a lot of surpluses revenue-wise, why don't we just, find a way to put it into the budget to give it? And it's like, that was how they kind of left it off.
Really?
Yeah.
So there would be state-funded PEG? Is that what they're trying to say?
I don't know.
Well,
It was just,
supplement.
it was,
If it's
materialized.
it was a
Supplemented,
suggestion. The legislation looks to do up to 5%, where it would be kind of a, something that would put on the Netflixes and the, Amazon Primes of the world, and that nominal fee would come back to us, and they have a formula as to how they would divvy it out to the different PEG access centers and communities.
That seems like it would be more appropriate for access centers that are town boards, not this.
Well, what's
But
interesting.
we are a subcontractor for the town, so.
Well, the thing is that the way the pie is divvied up is that the state would get 20%, and that it works out where the PEG access centers probably get a smaller portion, but the state and the community would get a piece of the pie too.
Shouldn't the community's piece be based on how many people in the community get apps and are paying them? Like if you had 10 people in Abington,
Yeah, but
all
that's
that money
a
would go to
tedious thing to have to
Abington.
break down.
Yeah. Well, so I mean,
Like, I'm just, for instance, me, because we did cut the cord. And so we use ours in Maine, when we're in Maine, we use it here, so how are they gonna do that? They're gonna give Maine some, are they gonna give Mass some, because I use it in both places? It's really kind of.
I think it's your residence.
Yeah.
I think it's wherever you reside is that's
Billing
where-
address. probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever your home address is.
But those are starting to go up too.
Yeah. They are.
Netflix and they're rising, they're increasing in their
Yep.
prices too.
Yeah.
So they're gonna price themselves out, because people are gonna be like, well, you know what, maybe I'll go back to cable, because, this is not gonna cost too much money. If they watch TV.
So, but I am following it
Okay.
as it's developing and as it's happening. And
Appreciate that.
when there's news to report, I'll definitely make sure I send you correspondence.
In the newsletter.
The newsletter.
So,
You made mention of the programs and the cover, but since it's been the year, and just in reflection, I think ACAM has continued to do pretty well with the sports coverage. You know, Abington High School has done some great runs into the tournaments, and we've had coverage for that. So I just want to mention that that's something well done. It's not just always just aligning to the school calendar year, but even into, like, the spring, I think we were traveling, or you were traveling out to,
Matt Nelson was traveling. out.
yes.
Yeah.
So there were tournaments to go out there. So I think that's worth maybe counting out when you get a chance. If there's next year, maybe we consider how many sports programs were broadcast from our, events, the high school events, because there is a large segment there, and it's got a pretty good following.
I think I did that. I might have done that in a previous report. I try to do that on an annual basis, and I know that we have, the past 2 years, we have reached anywhere from 175 to 215.
Amazing.
Whether it's mostly stuff that we're doing here in-house, or if it's something that we're being shared with us, but not much is necessarily shared. We kind of do our own
We
thing.
generate a lot. Sure.
And it's also good to know that we are, so last Friday, we had to travel down to Sandwich, and we did so without our award-winning announcing team of Sean Riley and Kevin Whalen. But Dr. James Madden, not necessarily a doctor, but he called him a doctor, it's his nickname. He's the young man who does our basketball games, and he is fantastic. And so this was, I think, his first time calling football, and he was amazing. That's
great.
Well, he wasn't necessarily the vaunted, he didn't have the information that Sean and Kevin possess, and have the deep knowledge of a lot of these families and these kids. James kind of knew a lot of his peers who were out there on the field and did it without missing a beat. We also, I know back in the day, Bob, you've called soccer games.
Yeah.
We've got the likes of Jim Dorman, who's the host of the Gig Show. He does that from time to time. Abington News' own Rick Collins has been calling games for us. So we're doing our best to also, expand and branch out beyond just the Sean Riley's and Kevin Whalen's and Matt Nelson's, to try to see if we have a little bit more depth on our bench to be able to
Oh, that's a
provide.
great idea.
So,
And one other topic, with regards to the surplus equipment, it was basically due to an inventory you took to identify what could be considered surplus. I suspect, and I think we've loosely chatted about, we still have to forecast what maybe we still have to replace. Surplus is great, but we're also using equipment that's probably running into 5 or 6 years now.
Right.
So you might be materializing something over the next 6 or so months of what we have to replace still.
that is correct.
Thank you.
All
Nice
departments are
summary.
doing well, nobody has any issues, town hall's doing good, schools are doing, with all the equipment and everything,
Yes.
everything's going well.
Yes. And actually, it's worth noting that, again, our partnership with the boosters and with the school, and, investing in the Huddle system. I don't know if you know this or not, or if you've seen it at all, but we actually have a Huddle Flex. And this is kind of a camera that is, up in the air about 20 feet, just like the eyes in the air with a camera, but this thing has AI.
Tracks.
And it tracks the ball.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's really, it's very, and it's proprietary technology that's it's able to do this. But and the kids love it because they get their stats, they get their, if they score a goal, they will capture a replay for them. It's definitely amazing. So
Nice.
It's a good license. Thanks for the report.
yes, sir.
anything else? I do have one little thing that I haven't mentioned before, and it's incredibly little, but yeah, since last probably January, early February, I've been working on recovering some money from the state treasurer's unclaimed. $22.70. We finally got it.
I saw that deposit.
Yeah, it was $22.50 with 20 cents interest. So not $300,000, but still a victory. And I've continued to watching the unclaimed because I don't know what else is out there. So
Awesome.
That's the only other thing.
What was it, was the source a rebate or something like that?
Yeah, I forget now, it's been so long, but it was, I think it was maybe an overpayment from, workers' comp or something. 2270.
Keeps our name off that list, too.
Yeah, yeah, so, nothing
Good.
else?
Move to
Nope.
adjourn.
Do we have a motion, do we have a second?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Adjourned.